Yo, everybody, we got a big show for you tonight. We're going to be talking NXT TakeOver and SummerSlam's fallout, John Cena officially on Monday Night Raw, Big Cass and Asuka's injuries, WCPW's World Cup, and much, much more. This is your HEELKAIJU podcast.
We don't know where this monster came from. All we know is that he's angry and that he is here to destroy.
You better watch your step. A crush warning is now in effect. Coming through, no regrets. The city's erect. Total devastation. The mission and its statement. Watching body y'all come with villainy for entertainment. We'll take a basic ride in the dirt, break his back and laugh at him with a smirk. Across the skyline, world champ 2 times. He's got the microphone, sit back and listen up. HEELKAIJU Radio, pull a chair and turn this shit up.
Yo, what's up, guys? This is your host, Spotted Menace, and I've got my usual crew here today. Daria, my co-host, say what's up.
Hey. What's wrong with that?
That was very enthusiastic. I mean, it wasn't, but, you know.
Oh, really?
Whatever. What's up, Danny, our boy from Boston?
Wagwan, fam.
I don't know how to react to that. I'm at a loss.
Bomba clat.
Oh my god.
That's my Boston accent.
King Dad, please.
Yo, how's it going? How's it going?
Thank you. Just right to the case. I said, what's up? He's like, yo, how's it going? Done. I didn't need a patois.
That's my normal speaking voice, fam.
Okay, so you're going to get me in trouble. You're going to get me in trouble. And like, we just started. I want to at least get to episode 10. I want to get to the double digits before we get pulled off.
Let's start with the offensive voices now. And then everyone will get used to it by a few episodes in.
Speaking of which, let's before we start, I got a question to ask you, Danny. What's the hell is going on in Boston with the Isaiah Thomas and the physical? What's happening there?
Well, the Celtics decided to backstab the coolest and toughest dude on the entire planet, Isaiah Thomas. They sent Isaiah out to recruit for them and get them this super team consisting of like Gordon Hayward and in response, they were like, "Yeah, we'll trade you away for Kyrie Irving. You're injured now." And honestly, it's kind of karma that now the Cavs are just being terrible about it as well. Like, honestly, logically, trading away Isaiah for Kyrie is a good move. Yeah. Because Kyrie's younger, he's bigger, his hip isn't injured. It's heartless. It's absolutely heartless, and I hate it, but it's a good
basketball move.
It's a good basketball move. I think that you gave up too much. I think giving up the Brooklyn pick is just too much. But honestly, now the Cavs are just being awful about it. They knew about Isaiah's hip before the trade was sent, right? And the trade was accepted. We not only gave them Isaiah, we gave them Jay Crowder, who is pretty much the best deal in the entire NBA. We gave them Ante Zizic, who could develop into a good big, and the goddamn Brooklyn pick that is sought after by every single team in the league. It's about the best asset a team could get. So for next season, right? The Cavs are trying to still contend next season. They got a player who was arguably Kyrie Irving's equal or better last year.
Yeah.
Plus Jay Crowder, plus Ante Zizic and a Brooklyn pick. And once they see that Isaiah's hip is actually hurt, they say, that's not enough. We also want either Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. Like, and the next best goddamn offer for Kyrie Irving was like a Happy Meal toy. And they expect us to give them
your whole team.
They expect us to like mortgage our entire future for Kyrie Irving.
That's pretty much your whole starting, like, that's a starting lineup for Kyrie Irving.
Yeah. Like, honestly, the other deal I saw was what Malcolm Brogdon, Chris Middleton, and a pick. And I mean, Brogdon and Middleton are good, but it's not Isaiah, Jay Crowder, Zizic, and the Brooklyn pick. Like, honestly, a lot of people think the Celtics already overpaid for Kyrie Irving, me included. So let's not pay even more. Let's just get the deal done. The worst case scenario here is that the deal doesn't get done and they have to send Isaiah Thomas back to Boston to play for the team that just stabbed him in the back. Oh, that would be terrible.
You know what? What'll soften the blow is the fact that Kyrie would have to go back to Cleveland and face LeBron James after basically, saying, I don't want to play with this guy anymore.
True, but it won't be as bad for Cleveland because he'd already come out and said, like, I'm leaving. Like, no, I'm gone. So if he goes back there, they'll just find another team to send him to. They won't get nearly as good of a haul, but they'll just find somewhere else to send him to. Here, it was like, hey, Isaiah, I hope you're excited to work with Gordon Hayward. You are our MVP. The crowd loves you. You're the little guy. We're going to pay you all this money. Surprise, we're trading you for Kyrie Irving. And now he'd have to come back and play for this team that he knows just gave up on him. It would be disastrous.
Well, damn. Well, at least you're in a better position than the Bulls, so I can't feel sorry for you. I can't.
Who did the Bulls get for Jimmy Butler?
Nobody.
Like,
nobody. We got Zach LaVine and Scrubs. So
like Zach LaVine and a snowblower for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. So at least we know that the sidewalks leading up to the Madhouse on Madison will be clear of snow.
Everyone will get easy entry to watch the Bulls.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, will they really regret that immediately?
Oh, yeah. We're already regretting it, but it is what it is. Anyway, as I said at the top of the hour, I say top of the hour. Wow. As at the beginning, don't laugh at me. That ain't funny. As I said at the beginning, we got ourselves a pretty decent show for us tonight. So let's get started with what happened at NXT TakeOver and SummerSlam. That was, I think we calculated it. I think it got up to like 14 or 15 hours of wrestling if you counted pre-shows. 15 hours of wrestling from Saturday to Tuesday.
Yeah, it was pretty insane.
Yeah, it was pretty big week.
It was exhausting, especially if you were like Danny and did the G1 as well in the weeks leading up to it.
Yeah, it's a lot of wrestling.
It was a lot of wrestling. But
it was
some good wrestling.
I didn't even know that there was life after wrestling, honestly.
But it was some good wrestling. Definitely some good wrestling at the TakeOver event where we saw Andrade Almas beat Johnny Gargano, which hopefully sets up a little road to redemption for Gargano. It was a pretty good match. It was very good. Like it was better than I was expecting it would be.
Yeah.
Then we had Sanity beat the Authors of Pain for the tag team titles, and they surprised us because we thought it was going to be Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane, but they threw Eric Young into the mix, which just like Sanity brought some chaos in. You really can't game plan for Eric Young because he's been gone for a bit, and they ended up taking out the Authors of Pain. Then we saw Aleister Black and Hideo Itami in a hard-hitting match. There was blood everywhere.
Oh, God, yeah.
There was blood everywhere. And then Asuka beat Ember Moon, retained her title. The only one to retain their title. I think it was only like 2 or 3 people over throughout the course of the whole weekend who retained their titles.
I think it was too, because I think everybody else switched hands.
Yeah. Everybody's titles pretty much changed hands besides, a handful. And Asuka was one of the special few. But she also, and we're going to talk about this later, she also ended up getting injured after defeating Ember Moon in what was a masterclass of women's wrestling. I might not say match of the year candidate, but it's definitely up there. You'd have to say it's definitely up there. And then we finished it off with Drew McIntyre beating Bobby Roode for the championship, becoming your new NXT champion. And then out of nowhere, no spoiler, because chances are you saw it already. You saw the dirt sheets or dirt screens or whatever. You saw it already. Adam Cole, baby, shows up and drops Drew McIntyre and lets the world know that he is here in NXT with Fish and O'Reilly flanking him on either side. What is that going to mean for NXT? We don't know, but we will find out in the future. My big thing is, what was y'all's match of the night during TakeOver?
Oh, God, it's tough to even figure out what the match of the night is from such an amazing card. I'm not sure. Like, this is one of these cards that, like, you know, you dream about having such a great card.
Yeah,
and
because, like,
I mean, God dang, who would I pick? I mean, honestly, Ember Moon versus Asuka had to be my match of the night. Like, they showed off a skill of women's wrestling that we really, like, you know, that has only been achieved so infrequently in WWE.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna even mirror that, because, like, even though Drew versus Bobby Roode was a great match, it really was probably one of the best matches of Bobby Roode's NXT career.
Yeah.
Before, which came to an end because apparently he got pulled up on SmackDown a couple nights later. But Ember Moon versus Asuka told some great stories. Like, one of my best moments, one of my most favorite moments during this match was when Ember Moon hit her, I think, with the Eclipse, and Asuka kicks out at 2, and Ember is just staring at the ref in disbelief, and then her eyes and her head scans over to Asuka, and she just screams out, "I hate you."
Yeah, that was awesome.
Just like all of the anger, the visceral anger shown on her face as she spat that out, just made the match to me, because it showed that it's more than just great wrestling. It's awesome in-ring character work. And as I said, it told a great story. I definitely got to call that probably my match of the weekend out of the two events, truth be told. What about you, Danny? No, go ahead, my co-host. Speak your mind.
No, I was just going to say I have to agree, because that was pretty, even to the point where after they were done wrestling, how you could just see the upset on Ember Moon's face, but the audience still just respecting her and giving her a standing ovation. It was all great to me.
Yeah. All right, Danny.
I unfortunately was so sick that I fell asleep during Asuka Ember Moon.
Oh,
and I still haven't watched it, and I still haven't watched Drew McIntyre. So my match of the night is Gargano and Andrade. It seems like everybody's consensus match was Asuka Ember Moon, like, from everything I've seen. But I thought that Gargano and Andrade Cien Almas was like an amazing match, an opener, probably one of the top 3 matches of the weekend. I think there might have been 2 from SummerSlam that beat it, but it was probably my 3rd favorite match of the entire weekend.
So we definitely gotta give Danny a lot of credit for trying to power through. He was a sick boy. He was one of our sick boys during this time, and he tried to force his way through.
I'm inspiring, honestly.
Yeah, you know, y'all should look up to him in his attempts to
look up to me
to watch wrestling.
It'd be the first time anyone's ever looked up to me. That face would 5'7".
Well, he's our sick short boy is what he is.
Indeed, I'm a short boy. I'm delicate.
Oh, we can cradle him like a sweet babu.
Oh.
But going on, as we said, TakeOver was a great event. Really, there was not a bad match on the card. It was a short card, but it was, it got what it needed done. It didn't linger. It didn't overstep its bounds. It didn't try to be something it wasn't. It just was TakeOver Brooklyn 3, and it tore the roof down at the very end. It was a great event, just like pretty much all of the takeovers have been great events for WWE. And then we move on to what possibly was the most WWE of WWE events in SummerSlam. And what I mean is it had some great concepts, had some pretty decent matchups on the card, but it turned into WWE. We had a match that I don't think anybody in this chat actually caught, and it turns out that nobody in the stands managed to catch the 6-man tag match between The Miz and the Miztourage and the Hardy Boys and Jason Jordan. Matter of fact, I don't even think we had that in our predictions.
Yeah, we did not. Well, because it was like last minute, and they did a horrible job explaining the fact that the pre-show started at 5 and not 6. Because everything, like, all week that I saw said 6 o'clock, so we just completely missed it.
Like, if it wasn't for the fact that I saw people tweeting, not about the match itself, but about the fact that Miz was holding up his Intercontinental title to like 3 guys in the stands right in front of the barricade. If that image didn't crawl through my timeline, I would have completely missed the rest of the pre-show. And that would have been a mistake, considering the fact that we had 2 great matches. We said this during our Smash pay-per-view prediction special for SummerSlam and TakeOver. We said that the 2 best matches of the night, 2 of the best matches of the night, would be relegated to the pre-show, and sure enough, they were. We had Neville versus Tozawa, with Neville getting back his championship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Cruiserweight Championship. Yeah,
in a great match. It was a great match, especially just for being on the pre-show. It was a great match, followed by So I love my boy Xavier. You know, you got somebody who is incredibly intelligent. I've been watching him since, I picked up TNA when it was still on Fox Sports Net. I watched it in my dorm room at the University of Tennessee because it was wrestling, and it was also wrestling that I couldn't catch for WWE. So it was something unique and new for me. And that's when I fell in love with Consequences Creed and Black Machismo. And, I love seeing him wrestle. And since he's been in WWE, I thought that he did a great job. But, there's always that one match that would show to the world and showcase one's talents. And this was it for Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods was the MVP, not just of this match, but of the night, in my opinion. Braun Strowman kicked ass, but Xavier Woods was the one that killed it during this match in a losing effort in an attempt to retain their tag team titles, losing to the Usos, who also did a great job. Everybody in this match did a great job. I'm just extolling the virtues of Xavier Woods in what was almost the longest match of the night, truth be told.
Yeah, the good thing about this getting the final spot on the pre-show was they got a lot of time to work. And I was saying earlier that Gargano and Almas was in my top 3. Mm-hmm. This was another match that I'd consider my top 3 of the entire weekend. Probably 2, honestly, behind only the main event. Like everything D said is correct. Like Xavier Woods really showed out, and it's cool because a lot of people consider Xavier Woods like the talker, but not really the wrestler of the New Day. Like he can spit a good promo, but he's the weakest of the 3 wrestling wise. And he showed that if you actually go out there and let him do some crazy shit, he'll do that and he'll blow you away. Yeah. He was like amazing. He was the MVP of the match. But he
really was.
Everybody,
I agree.
Everybody in this entire match was great. There were about 5 different moments where I thought we were going to get a conclusion in the match. And the cool thing about it was that even after those happen, like usually if you get around 5 end match scenarios, right? Like you're like, oh, that's got to be it. Sometimes like you can lose the crowd, but they had me like hook, line, and sinker till the very end of this. And Yeah, I was super happy with it. It's dumb that it wasn't the SummerSlam opener because it was literally like the perfect opening match, but alas.
Following that, we had I don't know how to describe some of these matches without absolutely crapping on them, but we had Cena versus Corbin, which was a nothing match with Cena getting the victory. We had Natalya versus Naomi, which surprised a lot of people on our predictions because we figured that there would be no, as you said, I think I remember how you put it. Let me see if I can get it right. There is no universe in which Natalya should ever beat Naomi.
I still stand by that.
You stand by it, but not only did Natalya beat Naomi, she beat her clean.
And so she didn't get cashed in on. Yeah, she wasn't even cashed in on. They were straight up just like, yeah, Natalya's the champ now.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to be dealing with from here on out, at least until somebody unseats her or Carmella cashes in successfully. Following that was the Battle of the Bigs, which of course,
next,
yeah.
I'll be honest. I gotta give a little props to Battle of the Bigs. Enzo lubing himself up to get out of the cage and then immediately getting big booted was
pause.
That's what he did.
In no way, shape, or form for the existence of this podcast, I'm putting a moratorium on anybody from here on out saying the words Enzo getting lubed up in a sentence. Never again. I don't ever want to hear. I don't want to visualize that. You know what?
I mean, you don't. It's already been visualized for you. That's literally what he did.
That's the problem, and I'm committing this further to wax right now by recording this. But I'm just putting it out here right now so that future historians can say that I warned y'all not to say it ever again. Enzo getting lubed up. Never again.
Okay, let me try again. After Enzo somehow got out of that cage, oh boy, I wonder how he did it. He just got big booted immediately, or did he get big booted? Whatever. He got like crushed by Cass.
It was big booted immediately, and that was like the one happy experience there because Enzo somehow inextricably getting out of the cage that we will never, bring up in conversation, polite or otherwise, again. That was very weird. And nope. Rusev, Randy Orton. That was a 10-second match, and we're done talking about it. Sasha Banks beat Alexa Bliss.
Great.
For the type of step. So that was actually a pretty good match.
It was, and I was surprised that Sasha Banks beat her cleanly.
Yeah.
No gimmicks.
Yeah, no shenanigans, no gimmicks, no nothing.
Well, I mean, if Sasha was going to win, I think she was going to win clean. Like, I think Alexa would be the one to retain via gimmick. But honestly, that was the kind of title win at SummerSlam that felt natural. Even though I picked Alexa, it was very cool to see Sasha win the title, as she is the best worker on that brand. And obviously I'm biased, she's a Boston girl. She really is the best worker on that brand, and it was cool seeing her get the title in front of a hot crowd.
And the crowd was very hot for her.
Yeah.
Really, you know what? From the start of the actual match card, aside from the pre-show, this has just been like a roller coaster card. Because then we started off with Cena Corbin, and then it kind of rose with Natalya versus Naomi. And what was, we may talk trash about Natalya, but that was a pretty good match. And then it dropped to the Battle of the Bigs, and then Randy Orton and Rusev. But then it raises right back up for the Banks Bliss match, which was a very damn good match, followed by a disappointing Balor Wyatt match. And it's not so much disappointing because of the talents involved in the match.
It's just was boring.
Yeah. What was the purpose is the main issue. What was the purpose? And we couldn't come up with one because you had Bray Wyatt, who won clean, poured blood on Finn Balor, and it looked like, hey, you could increase his momentum by having him just somehow flummox Finn Balor and make him have to dig deep to beat him. But instead, the very next Sunday, that was a Monday before SummerSlam. The very next Sunday, you have him bring out the demon and just beat him. That was it. He just won. There's nothing behind it. So, what was the point of this whole matchup to begin with? Who did it help?
Yeah, I mean, it helps Finn, I guess.
I think
really?
they could have did with, well, not really.
Marginally.
It's a win, you know.
Yeah.
It's like a win.
That's the only way it helps him is because it's a win. But
Yeah,
he
I
could have
guess
beat
so.
he could have beat the Drifter at SummerSlam and would have had the same amount of quote unquote help as beating Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
honestly, I think Wyatt needs to get revitalized, like legit. It's just,
He really does.
it's almost becoming like a bathroom break every time I see Wyatt.
Yeah. You think that a little bit of time away would help? Because we saw on SmackDown afterward that they brought Dolph back. Dolph is back, and he's kind of crapping all over the product. But the promo was pretty fun. It was a breath of fresh air. It wasn't any more of his, hey, I'm too cocky for my own good, nor was it his face, I'm the best there is, just give me a chance, pluckiness of a baby face. So it kind of was fresh. So you think a little bit of time away, the same way that they gave Dolph some time away, would help Bray Wyatt just a little bit more to get the fans, not just the fans behind him, but to give the writers, to give him something to do.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you just took time to actually write something good for Bray
Yeah.
Wyatt.
I think. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just gonna say, I mean, I'm not really sure what you can do with Wyatt to at least like appease like me. I think his in-ring style is boring. I think his promos have become just
Repetitive.
nonsense. Yeah, they're repetitive. They're nonsense. There's no meaning to any of them. Like I just like if I see anyone in a feud with Wyatt, I'm like, well, that's from a lack of ideas.
Yeah. One thing I gotta say, and it drives me nuts. WWE actually puts out a comic called WWE the Comic Book. It's Boom Studios puts it out, and I've been reading it because it comes out monthly. It's like this ridiculously entertaining book that basically fills in the gaps between Raws and stuff, and like, you know, Raw or SmackDown episodes and stuff. And they've been doing this whole storyline where it's Sasha and Dean just hitting the road, basically leading up to Money in the Bank. And they're like, you know, a duo together and everything. And they end up with like, you know, crossing paths with the Wyatts and ending up at the Wyatt family compound. And then there's all these people with sheep masks and everything and monster truck battles and stuff. And it's like, this is really entertaining book. It's like, why aren't you doing elements of this on the main roster show? It's like, this would get me to care about the Wyatts and stuff. And I also, I'm insanely shipping Dean and Sasha because of this stupid book. It's like Renee has to like read, like if Renee reads this, I am sure she's incredibly irritated. I mean, it's never treated as a romance, but goddamn, they would be great together as a team.
All right. So we got Katie over here shipping Sasha and Dean.
I don't mean to ship them, but they're just so good together. Like their characters were so good together, like in this book. It's like they don't even need to be shipped. They like I would love like if we had more basically like, you know, men's teams, not like, you know, stables or just like, you know, alliances or something.
Just something.
Yeah, like something where it's like, you know, some kind of cohesion and like without like, you know, this whole split or like, you know, invisible wall that goes up and it's like, you know, this is men's stuff, this is women's stuff. The two never interact. And it, like, you know, gets tiresome. That's one of the things in the Attitude Era that, like, you know, I mean, it was abhorrent at the same time because how they treated the women, but they also, it's like, you know, everybody kind of flowed together so storylines could cross paths. And
Okay. No, I can get behind that. I can. But just Bray, I love you, Booby. I do. I really do. But you need something to do. So, as I said, we got a roller coaster. We went from a high of Sasha to a low of Finn and Bray to another high, which was another good tag team match. Not nearly as good as the one that was kept off the show, but a very good one. Seeing the team of Ambrolins, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, defeating Cesaro and Sheamus in what again was a pretty lengthy match on the main card for the Raw tag team titles. Followed by again another low point on the card with two guys who work very well together outside of weird stipulations. And that's AJ Styles and Kevin Owens with the special guest referee of Shane McMahon. It was a match. It was a match.
It was a good match.
It was a good match that could have been great without bullshit.
That's true. That is true.
That Shane stuff added nothing and just made it a mess.
Yeah,
it could have been really good. Like, it could have been really good, but like the main focus of the match was the Shane stuff, and you can only have such a good match when that's your main focus. Yeah. It was a shame.
It was a gateway match. It was a gateway match on the way to another feud. It was a match that didn't matter in the grand scheme.
It was a layover. That's what it was.
There it was. That's a perfect word for it. It was a layover. You got your bags packed. You're all ready to go, but you're sitting in this brilliant, amazing vista, but you know that you can't leave the airport because you got to chuck it all the way down to gate D37 to catch your next flight. That's literally what it is.
It really was. It was so irritating. I mean, it's like if Shane wasn't involved and this was a normal flat title match, I think there would have been some greatness there, but like they just had to add in those stupid shenanigans.
Yeah.
And it just ended up being a frustrating match because of that.
In other words, WWE'd it up.
Yeah.
That's
pretty much.
We follow that with further. I don't know if this is a down or an even kill, but it's definitely not the highest of highs. Jinder refusing to get hindered by Shinsuke Nakamura, retaining his WWE championship for another day.
Danny's top guy.
I love Jinder, but this was terrible. Like really, this was a terrible match. I have to ask you, what was your opinion on the finish of this match?
I'm still not sure what the finish was. It was incredibly confusing.
I don't remember it. I remember every single finish of SummerSlam and NXT. I can't remember the finish. I think it was like a botched. We don't even know the name of his finisher.
Jinder did his move. It looked terrible. I was like, oh, they messed up on that. At no point did I think that was going to be the finish of the match. I was like, oh, that looked bad. And then I was waiting for him to get up and do another move. Jinder went down to pin 1, 2, 3. That was the end of the match. After a match that really just like lacked in creativity, it was really bad.
Daria?
That match kind of upset me a little bit.
Why did it make you upset?
It was gimmicky again, and I don't see Shinsuke is so good of a wrestler. We don't need gimmicks.
Because it really suffered from the. I don't know if it would have been better without him, but it definitely was bad with him. With the Singh brothers hopping in and causing a distraction. Who knows what match we could have got with just Jinder and Shinsuke, but like in a way without the Singh brothers, you kind of write yourself into a corner. Without the distraction, how do you justify Shinsuke taking the 1, 2, 3 from Jinder Mahal clean with no distractions? There
is no justification. I kind of think they missed an opportunity here.
They could have really built Jinder up.
Yeah, and I think it was a missed opportunity. It just made Jinder look more gimmicky and kind of stupid.
A little bit.
And I mean, I think we got to start. I think we got to start judging Shinsuke for these performances as well. Like, I mean, he's been really hit or miss since joining the WWE. I think he's had more bad matches than good matches, honestly. And
on the main card or just in general? Just in general.
And I find a lot of his matches just to be like boring nowadays. Like a lot of the matches that people really liked in NXT, like the rude like the rude matches and everything, I wasn't really that big of a fan of. I thought they were good, not great. The Sami Zayn match was really good. He had a really good match with Cena on SmackDown, which, like, who doesn't have a good match with Cena? And
Baron Corbin.
Yeah, Baron Corbin. You're right. But man, there was just I feel like we got to see something better from Shinsuke now too, because he has a reputation to live up to, and if you're literally like one of the best wrestlers in the world, you can get a good match out of Jinder Mahal, and that didn't happen.
So, you know what? I can't fully disagree with that because, like, given how long he's been in the game, given what they've brought him in for in WWE, there's really not too much of an excuse that he can't be like, and I hate to say this, can't be like a Cena in terms of pulling great matches out of otherwise mediocre talent.
Yeah.
And that's what needs to start happening a little bit more, because I can't use this match as, this is where I have a disagreement just a little bit, is I can't use this match as the litmus test for him not putting on good work, primarily because just the way that this match was set up was crap to begin with.
Yeah.
It was already going to be an overbooked mess to begin with. So I can't really use that. Which is why I was saying, like, you know, a straight up one-on-one could have really elevated Jinder if they found some way to make him win, like either through controversy, like, oh, Shinsuke's foot was on the rope or something, anything.
Yeah,
they could have really done something to have Jinder escape and survive another day as WWE champion without overusing, you know, people hopping into his rescue, because, you know, once or twice I get that, but after a while it makes the other talent look kind of stupid that they can't find a way to neutralize two guys who, standing on their shoulders, would probably struggle to reach the top of Big Show's head.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's partially the way that they're booking it. It's partially just the stories that they're telling. And from here on out, I think, yes, we should start holding Shinsuke to a higher level of scrutiny, just a little bit. But I won't use this match as the definitive measure of when we should start going, okay, is Shinsuke as good as we really think he is? Because, like, from his work, we know his body of work. We know what he can do. So it's not a measure of talent. Is it then a measure of effort or chemistry?
We know career-wise he's amazing, but
yeah,
I mean, is he putting in the right effort? Is he getting too old? You know,
it's like it's almost like he's starting to be the Darrell Revis of wrestling right now.
My friend on Twitter put his problems with Shinsuke like this. Shinsuke built up his reputation working like a dangerous style, right? And now in the WWE, he's wrestling one of like the safer styles on the roster. Like, very repetitive, doesn't really hit very hard or anything. So it's like everything you really liked about Shinsuke, not really there. At least it definitely wasn't there in the Jinder match. So, I mean, maybe if he gets a pay-per-view opponent he really is excited about, we'll get to see Shinsuke pull out his A game, but definitely didn't pull it out at SummerSlam.
Okay. Well, here's hoping in the future. We finish up SummerSlam with Lesnar, Reigns, Joe, and Strowman. Brock Lesnar ending up surviving the Fatal 4-Way, which saw Roman Reigns and Strowman put on great work. Joe was there.
Yeah.
He was there. Which
he didn't do too much.
He's the one who was a little bit more deserving of the Joe is sleeping chant right now, because I can't remember what he did besides Coquita Clutch a few people, but
he
it
did
was
a few
definitely.
clutches.
Oh yeah, he did a few, but that was like, you know, I don't remember what else he did, but you know, this Fatal 4-Way match was basically all Lesnar, Reigns, and Strowman, and they put on an amazing, chaotic, destructive match in a great way.
Yeah.
So, honestly, if SummerSlam was a roller coaster, it definitely ended on the highest of high points of this weekend.
This was my match of the weekend for sure. I thought, like per usual, you get a multi-man match with a guy like Brock, with a guy like Roman, and now Braun. Like they're just going to give you a goddamn massive match, just like destruction everywhere. Braun just destroying Brock was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like it was one of the best things we've seen in the WWE this year. I think I went like 4.5 on this. Like really, really, really great match.
In terms of destruction, how do you think it compares to the squash match that Cena had with Brock? I want to say 2-3. Was it 4 years ago? Oh well, it's not like that. Like it wasn't that bad, but it was pretty bad. I'm talking just more like in terms of getting the fan excitement. Like just off the edge of your seat, clutching at your hair and just watching in sheer amazement at what you're experiencing live and on the network. Do you think that ranks up above or right level with seeing Brock just drop 16 German suplexes on John Cena?
I definitely put it below Brock Cena. Yeah, for sure. Like, I think Brock Cena is one of the best, like the best booking that WWE's done in like recent years, and was one of the most shocking matches that I can even remember. That was amazing. This was also really good. Like, of course, I can't put it on the same level. Number one, Brock won the match. So, I mean, he came back and won the damn match, whereas Cena, you kept waiting for the comeback to happen. It never happened. He just got owned. But, I mean, like, in terms of, like, the one-on-one in this match, like, whenever Braun and Brock were together, Brock didn't get a single thing, and really, it was just Braun destroying him. And that did a really good job to set up the main event for the upcoming pay-per-view. Makes me a little sad that this isn't the setup for something at Mania between them. It looks like they're still going to go Brock-Roman, which, like, I'm sure will be a very good match in itself, but like, it's so obvious that the big, big, big match to make is Brock and Braun right now.
Okay. Well, that really concluded what SummerSlam was. Definitely not nearly as concise or as clean and consistent as TakeOver, but it rarely is in WWE today. NXT will usually have an event that, you know, gets the fans, both casual and the smarks alike, up off their feet and ready to, you know, enjoy the event. Whereas, like, when they go for the main roster event the next day, it's something that's usually good and solid, but certainly lacks the consistency of tone and storytelling, and really the willingness to do something a little bit more unconventional. In terms of having a champion retain or lose their title, in terms of giving somebody a shot over an established talent or anything like that. But the weekend wasn't lost. It was great. It was great wrestling. And sticking with the stuff that we saw on the network, we had the first Mae Young bracketology special. I want to say it was Monday, Tuesday night. I want to say. I can't remember which day, but they had the bracketology. The first episodes are coming up on August 28th, so that's going to be tomorrow. If we get this up on the website and on SoundCloud by the end of tonight, but if not, it's going to be later on tonight on August 28th, Monday. And so far they've done a great job, because I don't remember them having a bracketology special for the UK Championship, but they definitely had one for the Cruiserweight Classic, and it was great. But this one was a little bit better because it had nice little touches to the graphics and the chyrons during the show, like actually bringing in people and showing what their finishers and fighting styles were, so that you knew what you were getting into when you were watching these particular athletes coming onto the screen. And so far, two of the bigger names in the tournament right now, in my opinion, has to be Shayna Baszler, coming straight out of MMA, UFC. I know Danny knows her. How hype are you to see her get in the ring and show her what she can do?
Yeah, Shayna Baszler, she seems to be, she's always been a huge wrestling fan. She seems to be an exciting talent in the pro wrestling world. You know, she has a natural transition right over. She was she was quite good as a mixed martial artist years ago. The game has passed her by. She's she wouldn't compete by today's standards. It's just just a generational thing. So moving over to pro wrestling is the right move for her. She has a deep passion for it. And I'm definitely excited to see her in the tournament.
Yeah, she's one of the what do they call it? The four horsewomen of
don't
MMA.
even bring that up. Dear God. Four jobbers.
I mean, WWE is the one who's really trying to push that. You know, you're going to have the rumors of them trying to get the four horsewomen of WWE facing off against the four horsewomen of MMA, and just see how that works, because you know that we're going to have Ronda Rousey try to come through, and I'm showing my ignorance because I don't remember the other two.
Jessamine Duke and goddamn, what's her name? The other one was supposed to be a good talent, but she just kept losing too. I forget her name, honestly. Yeah, it was Ronda, Jessamine Duke, Shayna Baszler, and I forget the other one's name. And they all just lost. It was bad. It was really bad.
Well, here's hoping that Shayna can show you what she can do in the ring during this Mae Young Classic or Mae Young tournament.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely rooting for her. She seems like a good person.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from her, and I know that this is going to get KD's ears pricked up, Kairi Hojo, or Kairi Sane, I think I want to say her name is now in WWE. Kairi Hojo, I saw her elbow drop. It is the best elbow drop in the business. You got her, KD?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I mean, it's gonna be a tough one because there's a few others I have hopes for it, and I have not read any of the spoilers, so I have no idea of anyone's current status or who's won or anything. But she's basically at the top of my list for winning it all. Yeah, it's honestly, I love her whole gimmick. I love the fact that she's a pirate queen, and she comes out with her full pirate regalia, because I have a thing for pirates ever since Paul Burchill's awesome gimmick.
Until it turned into an incest gimmick.
Oh God, yeah. But no, it's we've been long overdue for a proper pirate gimmick again. So it's if this works, and I hope it does, I mean, she could hopefully have a long career in NXT and the main brand, wherever they decide to do with her.
Well, here's also hoping that they throw a few surprises at us, like they did with the Cruiserweight Classic, because we had some.
Oh yeah, no, I love surprises. The one probably dark horse competitor I'm really looking forward to is Jazzy Gabbert, and it's she has got she's this German gal. She's got this look like she belongs in a 1980s movie. Sci-fi movie as a villain. And it's I just love that look, and it's she's a big gal too, so it's god dang, it's she looks like she could be a force to be reckoned with.
All right, well, again, the first episodes drop on the 28th. We're going to be watching that tomorrow. When we get back. Yeah, that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow, hopefully, as of this broadcast tomorrow.
Yeah, I wish they were doing it how they did the Cruiserweight Classic era after NXT, instead of doing it four at once.
Well, maybe they know something a little bit more about the viewing habits than we do, and hope, because I really want this to succeed. I really want this to be, if not a yearly thing, but then maybe a biannual thing, something, anything. Let's see how that works out. Yeah. Moving on, we get to talk about some bad things in the wrestling world. Namely Asuka getting injured. We said we were going to come back to it. Asuka had a great match against Ember Moon at TakeOver, but it turns out that she injured her collarbone. I'm hearing some reports say it was broken. I'm hearing some reports saying it's sprained. Either way, she's going to be out, they say, between 6 to 8 weeks. As a result, she ended up having to relinquish her title. So right now, Vacant owns another title. That guy right there has to be in the WWE Hall of Fame.
That's like a future Hall of Famer, easily.
Definitely. Well, while Vacant holds a new title, Asuka's going to be injured, but we heard a little bit of good news, an iota of good news, the fact that this injury kind of sort of fast-tracked her. If it wasn't already planned for her to go to the main roster, this definitely was something that kind of pushed them to announcing that it's going to happen, that Asuka is going to be up on the main roster sometime soon. The question is, which brand is going to have her? Honestly, in my opinion, I think SmackDown would serve well to have her because they got a lot of great talent on both brands for the women's division. But having Asuka be there and basically run roughshod over that division, that the one that doesn't have a monster heel in a Nia Jax or the fully established guard of women's wrestling in your Sasha Banks. It's weird saying that she's established, but considering the fact she's got like 6 or 7 title reigns under her belt right now, kind of makes it so. It just feels like it would be a much better fit for her, especially with the looming threat of Carmella's cash in at any point in time. But where do you think that she's going to land? Raw, SmackDown?
It's hard to say. I mean, I'm kind of picturing Raw for her just because they seem to have a problem finding, outside of Sasha, that one surefire face. I mean, Bayley, for who knows what reason, fell apart on, fan reaction. So they need someone else that can take it, and someone else that Brock Lesnar style of women's wrestler that Nia Jax certainly is not. So, I mean, having someone run roughshod over Raw might do better for their division where there doesn't seem to be any kind of focused competition.
Okay. I can see that. I guess I can see that, yeah. Hey, Danny.
Yeah, I think that she'll end up on Raw, probably. SmackDown already has Charlotte. Though, honestly, if she goes to SmackDown, a Charlotte-Asuka feud would be amazing.
Oh, that would be awesome.
If they continue Charlotte as a face and Asuka is I know they love Asuka, but Asuka playing the heel, that could be really good. Again, I would also love to see Asuka versus Sasha.
Oh, God.
Oh, man, that would be awesome.
Oh, God. Bring back that I'm a stomp on your head while I put you in a Boston Crab, Sasha, that we saw against Bayley.
The two best women's wrestlers in the company, Sasha and Asuka, for sure. Dang. I think.
All right, I'll take that. You know what? I'll take that. I now want to see Asuka Sasha go at it. So.
Oh no, they'd have a hell of a match.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that for a second.
It's like the one match we never got in NXT, so I'd be down for that.
Oh my God. Dang, that actually got me a little bit excited. But sticking with injuries, we got to go to another one that came out of nowhere. Big Cass, this past Monday, and what looked like just a regular routine bump over the top rope, ended up. I don't remember what the exact injury was, but he injured his leg so badly in this match that he's incapable of actually finishing it. Matter of fact, I think he was setting up for the Empire Elbow, and he just crumpled to the mat in a match against Enzo.
Yeah, his knee gave out, I believe.
Just gave out. It was basically a nothing match, but I don't know what's going to happen for him. I honestly don't know what's going to happen for Enzo, because even though it wasn't his fault in any way, it's just like there's a pall that hangs over his head right now, with stories of him losing the locker room, with story of him losing the front office, and now being in a match that injures somebody that it seems like Vince and the rest of the company was super high on. What happens from here on out? Does Enzo get into further trouble backstage just for being involved, just by proxy, or is this just something that's just going to be considered okay? You know, things happen.
Well, was Enzo really at fault for this injury?
No, he wasn't at fault. But
this was just basically a freak accident. I mean, Enzo did show up on Tuesday night at 205 Live, so it seems like the cruiserweights are his future.
Yeah, that's where he's at now.
So he can have that 5-star match with Neville that no one wanted.
Okay.
I mean, if it ends up being a 5-star match, shit, I'll take
it.
It won't be. It won't be. But you know, it's just a bad thing all around. It's bad for Enzo because the only reason why I brought up how it might hit him on the backside is because just the fact that sometimes that's how it is. Not just in wrestling, but just in sports in general. You know, sometimes there's a little bit of a backlash if something happens, like you injure the top star on something that's routine, even though it wasn't your fault. It was just a freak accident. There's still that cloud that hangs over your head backstage or in the locker room. Sometimes that happens. Of course, we're just speculating, but at the same time, here's hoping that Cass and here's hoping that Asuka didn't say this. Here's hoping that they both get well soon, because you know we know Asuka is gonna be going up to great things, and it seemed like they were about to do the same for Cass. So here's hoping that he comes back in full effect.
You know another great match I would like to see with Asuka.
Go for it.
I kind of want to see her wrestle against Naomi.
Frick.
I don't know if Naomi is ready for Asuka.
Nobody's ready for Asuka.
Nobody is.
Like, not a single person. Mm-hmm. So, but I actually kind of would like to see it, because what has her best competition been?
Natalia.
Yeah, because like her defenses have basically been Lana, Natalia.
Yeah.
So, anyway, moving on. We got John Cena officially on the red brand, back in effect, right where he belongs. And honestly, I'm ready for it. I need to see more snarky Cena versus snarky Roman Reigns. I need to see Cena versus Joe, which has been advertised for the Raw that my sister and I are going to be at tomorrow.
God, I'm so excited for that. Especially Joe versus Cena. Oh my God.
If that happens legit, I think I'll go nuts. So I expect to see a bunch of like little videos on the Twitter feed and on the YouTube channel when that happens. But honestly, I need to see one match. I need to see is Cena Strowman, because I think the last time that they tussled up, it was when he still had on that black sheep mask and he was still a member of the Wyatt family and was just kind of there as an enforcer. And it never was, I don't think there was actually a legit match between the two. I think it was just a whole bunch of encounters, if that. I would love to see Strowman now versus Cena, just to see how they book that. I think it would be amazing. Who would you like to see Cena face on Raw? No, nobody. Nothing?
No, I told you Samoa Joe.
Yeah, you want to face Joe? I get that. Let's move right along. move it right along. I get that. Okay, let's go. We got Lio Rush heading to NXT, and honestly, I'm not as well versed in his resume as a few other wrestlers that are coming in. However, I did brush up a little bit, namely because Wrestle Circus, shout out to Wrestle Circus, who's been showing a lot of their free content on Twitch streams. We have a free match at a Wrestle Circus event. We're going to drop the link in the description below on SoundCloud, so you can go ahead and check it out and see it. It's Leo Rush versus MJF Maxwell Jacob Friedman from CZW for the CZW Wired Championship. It was a pretty great match. It was a nice farewell send-off for his last match at Wrestle Circus. So go ahead, check that out if you can. Leo looks like a pretty damn nice guy in the ring. Something that I think he would work well with, with Sami Zayn, definitely with the Hideo Itami. Just looks like a nice hard hitter. It's somebody who does a lot of great in-ring work that gives a little bit more charisma than a few of the other indie darlings that you might see who do great in the ring, but didn't really pull you into why you should give a damn about them. So keep an eye out for Leo Rush. Link in the description below to catch that free match for the CZW Wired Championship at Wrestle Circus. Go ahead and check it out. And speaking of further free matches on YouTube, we have this.
Wait, Derek. I'm sorry, Spotted Menace. I actually would like to see Leo with Apollo Creed.
Apollo Crews?
Yeah, Apollo Crews. I'm sorry.
You just messing everybody's name up today.
I am. I'm like tongue-tied today. I don't know why.
You going to use my government and then call him Apollo Creed.
I know. But I would like to see him work with Apollo Crews. I think that would probably be a good match.
Yo, real talk? That would be pretty awesome. I don't know what his specs are. I don't know what his attributes are. I don't know how heavy he is. So I'm afraid he might end up getting sequestered into the cruiserweights. But if not, that would be a pretty great matchup. It would be a great little feud to see, some two highly athletic guys going in at each other, even hard hitting. Who knows? We get to see it. But before I was sorely interrupted by who, Daria, just go step in front and screen on a brother. I guess that's what we're doing on the show now. Damn. As I was saying, we got more free matches on WCPW during their World Cup. There are some great matches, some great content. Further links in the description below. Check that out. My favorite matches so far, since I've seen a few of them, have been Will Ospreay versus Rey Mysterio. And it's a moment in that match, or after that match, I should say, where you might end up bawling your eyes out. And anybody who tells you that wrestling doesn't tickle at the emotions is just straight up wrong. Go check that match out. Will Ospreay versus Rey Mysterio. We also ended up getting Jay Lethal versus Zack Sabre Jr., another great match. And finally, we had Ricochet versus Penta El Zero Miedo, or Pentagon Jr. from Lucha Underground. Again, three great matches that I thought, were amazing on WCPW's main channel for their World Cup. The World Cup finals aired technically yesterday or on Saturday. Still, go ahead, check it out. No spoilers here because I want you to go see it. But the finals basically saw Kushida and Connors versus Ospreay and Ricochet. Have y'all caught any of the matches or any of the content from the World Cup, from the WCP World Cup?
I haven't.
Not yet. Now that you've hyped it up, though.
Yeah, I hyped it up. As I said, some pretty great matches. For absolutely free. You know what? I'm gonna have to go on a tangent real quick. We are in the best age for wrestling. We have to be, not just in terms of the amount and the wealth of talent that is being exhibited in the ring, but more in terms of the amount of access that we have nowadays.
It's definitely an age of accessibility when it comes to wrestling content. There's no regional restrictions at play for most of the stuff. I mean, most of it can easily be found through legitimate means online.
No more trading VHS tapes.
Yeah.
Just to catch the one good match, the one 5-star match that Meltzer gave it. No more of that. No more having to wade through grainy cell phone videos just to catch a good match that nobody would have been able to catch because they couldn't drive the 300 miles to Bumble Alabama just to catch. Now you can watch. You could watch Wrestle Circus. You could watch WCPW. You got your Ring of Honors. You got your TNAs. You got your Lucha Undergrounds. You got your New Japans. You got your AAA, because Triple Mania was last night. That happened. And we saw that for free on Twitch.com. Or Twitch TV.
Yep.
.com? Really, D? You gonna say .com? Shut up. I made a mistake. On Twitch.tv.
Well, they own both, but yeah, Twitch.tv.
Okay, you know what? But still, this is the age of accessibility. Support is really what I'm going to talk about. Support as many of these organizations as you can. Patronize their businesses. Give money to the wrestlers, because they're marketing machines now. Just like the Young Bucks is like, they're selling their own shirts. All the wrestlers are selling their own shirts, getting all their merchandise out there. Give as much, as many eyes and as many dollars as you can to these organizations, because without them, without that kind of competition, WWE might as well be Madden. And that lack of competition leads to stagnation. So having as many of these organizations out there to pull as many eyes to them, to be as big as they are, is probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest thing in wrestling today, in my humble and quite honestly, not as well-traveled opinion, but still my opinion. Damn it. I stand by that, and I will stand by that. But enough of that. Our penultimate topic tonight, speaking of Triple Mania, which it was something new for me. Triple Mania was something new that I wasn't really expecting or even looking forward to. I think we saw it thanks to King Dead coming up with a link that goes, hey, guess what? We're going to have free wrestling on Twitch.tv. And of course, when I hear wrestling, especially if I hear the word free, I'm going to hop on over to that, John. So we hopped in, we saw the stream, caught it on our streams, caught the English version of the stream, which honestly I think kind of was a mistake, because wow, those commentators were bad. Like they were bad is all I can say to that, because it definitely go for it.
They were just unenthusiastic.
Yeah. Now, it was almost as if they weren't actually there. Wink, wink. But we saw Triple Mania. We saw some very, very well-traveled talent, some new talent, some people, some names that we knew, a lot of names we didn't. But it was wrestling. It was wrestling. We got to see a different style of wrestling in a different context, which is something that I'm very privileged to say that I saw, and I pretty much enjoyed for what it was. But the match that we'd like to talk about was the Fatal 4-Way match for, I can't remember what the name of the title was, but it was Sexy Star's
it's Reina de Reinas Championship, the Queen of Queens Championship.
You know what? There it is, the What He Said Championship. And it featured Sexy Star, crap, I'm forgetting her name right now.
Ayako Hamada, Lady Shani, and Rosemary from GFW Impact.
Thank you. By the way, I do love me some Hamada. I saw her on TNA. She was my girl when she was there. I love Hamada. But Rosemary and Sexy Star, thank you again, KD, for you are a hero. You are our resident babyface, because you are pulling my ass out of the fire right now. Because I thought I had all this stuff set and situated, and you're just like, you know what? No, it's the Queen of Queens Championship. It's Hamada. Hamada's up in that bitch. So thank you again, KD. You are the baby face of the group. But the match featured, had the finish of Sexy Star putting Rosemary into what looked like a straight up legit shoot armbar. Just twisted and wrenched her arm. And it looks like she ended up getting injured as a result. And really, that whole match in and of itself was kind of a show. We saw a lot of mainly Sexy Star, just like no selling strikes that should have been sold, like chair shots. One in particular caught her catching a trash can lid to the head, unprotected, and she just said nope, picked it back up and got ready to strike back at somebody again. And like it just seemed like a mess. And hearing now that Rosemary got injured, and also seeing social media not call out Sexy Star by name, but basically talking to her, or at her, I should say, about how this is not what you do in the business. We put people put their life and their livelihood in your hands, and to basically betray that trust is not something that they need in the business, and not something that they need in their culture, and not something that they need just in the locker room in general. And again, not calling her out by name, but a lot of them were going down the list, big names too, big names and little names, just basically excoriating Sexy Star and her actions. And honestly, I can see that, and it kind of heartens me to see that everybody kind of came together. Yeah, they came together to basically crap all over, what happened in the ring during Triple Mania, but they came together to really let you know what the business was about, and that was a big plus. What did you think, Daria?
Yeah, I agree. Because in that match, Sexy Star was just gnarly. It was kind of ridiculous a little bit, especially after she won the title, and then she just wouldn't let go. I didn't see the purpose of her doing that.
Yeah, from a live perspective, it looked like, it was just story, because we had people coming in for GFW. Like later on in the night, we had Jeff Jarrett throwing out tortillas to piss off the fans because they're down in Mexico. Yeah, he threw out tortillas, and then everybody just like threw beer and popcorn and everything at him. So like in the moment, it looked like what Sexy Star was doing was just your basic character work. And then then I come to my timeline and I'm seeing like wrestler after wrestler after wrestler just talking about people who are shooting in the ring, and like it's a consistent theme on the timeline. So I'm going around, I'm looking at, apparently, yeah, Rosemary got injured. Don't know the severity of the injury. It could be minor, it could be major, but she got injured, noticeably injured. And a lot of people are attributing it to the way that Sexy Star was handling herself in the match.
Well, Sexy Star is just an unsafe worker to begin with. She's not really that good, and she just kind of politics herself into wins. She basically does the Hogan thing without, being Hogan. So, I mean, she's just kind of a shitty individual to begin with. So then compounded with the fact that she did this just adds on to it, and AAA kind of enables her unless they, actually punish her.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know if that's going to happen, because the crowd seemed hyped about it, and everybody's talking about AAA, and everybody's talking about Triple Mania. So sometimes doing the bad thing, doing the worst thing out there can be seen as good, or as an ultimate good, because as my sophomore English teacher told me, money talks, bullshit walks. That's the only thing that's important. And if she brings money in, what pushes you to go after Sexy Star to get her to change, or to punish her in any way, shape, or form? What do you do? That's going to be the big question. Here's hoping that Rosemary, another injury that we're speaking about today, here's hoping that Rosemary gets better. Honestly, I got to start watching more TNA. Got to add that to my list of constant and consistent wrestling watching, just to see what they do, just to see how they handle having her out for a little bit. Our final topic today: brings us to probably something that a lot of our listeners, I should say, have thought about today, and that is Sonic Mania. Yeah, game came out this past week or a week ago, whichever. Game came out. I loved it. I'm still playing it, and honestly, I think it really harkens back to my childhood. Primarily the fact that it reminds me how much I suck at Sonic. So the first time I played Sonic was, and Daria will help me out with this. Wasn't it Tawana? We were in Germany. She brought her Sega Genesis over because we were always a Nintendo family. Well, aside from the Sega Master System, but that was before I was born, so it doesn't count. But she brought her Genesis over. We played Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Yeah, that was Thanksgiving, actually.
It was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It was Thanksgiving over in Germany. We were playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And all I can remember was the fact that, oh my goodness, this is fun. Oh my goodness, this is infuriating. But it's still fun. I love games, and that really helped keep my love of games going, because if not for that, I probably would have just stuck with the sports games like I usually did. You know, your NHLs, your NBA Lives, your Maddens, you name it. I was loving sports games more than anything, right? And playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you know, it brought a bit of extra adventure into me. Matter of fact, it's the reason why I got back into comic books, truth be told, because we got a pack of, I want to say like 100 comic books for Christmas, like the following, not the very next Christmas, but Christmas afterwards. And in that pack was, you know, the Archie Comics Sonic comic books. And I love them too. You know, it really helped me fall back in love with not just the character, but you know, with comic books, with games, you name it. And now it's back on our consoles, on our next gen consoles, the Sonic Mania. And from the moment that you boot it up, it really brings you back to your childhood with the very sounds and music. And it kind of follows right after the end of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It feels like in, what was it, 27 years between the last game or something like that. Like, I can't remember, but it for the wealth of time that it's been between that game and the last, like, incredibly great Sonic game, there's that gap. And it feels like that gap doesn't exist now that you got Sonic Mania. So if you're listening to this, if you're still a gamer, if you're an old school gamer, if you're a new one, go ahead, grab Sonic Mania. I believe it's only like $20. That's all I paid on the PlayStation Network. I believe it's available on Xbox Live and I think Steam. But if you got a chance, go ahead, pick it up, get your nostalgia going, and really just have fun. Honestly, I really want Daria to pick up the sticks and play it. You gonna be my Tails? You gonna be my Tails?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I miss Sonic.
Yeah, Danny, you pick it up yet?
I've never been a big Sonic guy.
Just I swear,
just was never into Sonic.
You couldn't help me out. You couldn't just fake your enthusiasm. Couldn't be just like, woohoo, I love me some Sonic. Chili dogs, way past cool. Couldn't do none of that.
Hold on.
Couldn't do none of that.
Hold on. All right, ready?
just do one of that for me.
Rolling around at the speed of sound, places to go, gotta follow my rainbow.
There you go. Thank you. That's all I'm asking for. Just give me some false enthusiasm. We got no rules or regulations here. Just betray who you are just to be like, yes, D, you're right. I love me some Sonic. Just do that once for me.
I love that little hedgehog, Moggle.
Thank you.
Always rolling around everywhere.
I appreciate.
Where's he going, Moggle? Where's he rolling to?
Oh my God. Well, thank you again, Danny, for your professionalism and input. You're still going to pick up Sonic Mania. I'm making you do that.
I actually just ordered it.
Don't lie to me.
D, come on, man. You can't have both. You can't tell me to lie and then chastise me for that. Oh my god.
Oh god, you're right. You're right. You know what? I think that's a great place to put our foot down on that one.
Yes.
So thank y'all again for listening. We're going to keep getting better. We're going to keep growing because that's what a kaiju do.
Yes.
You know what? That's a crappy sign off. I'm not going to use that. That's not going to put butts in the seats. It's not going to put headphones on people's ears to make them want to listen to us.
We need a rival podcast.
Really? So we get to be like the Bullet Club of podcasts.
No, we could be the WCW.
I don't want to be WCW because WCW ended.
Yeah, but we're gonna have a good run.
I'd rather have a lengthy, crappy run. I'd rather be WWE on this.
Oh.
I don't want like you dressing up like Sting hanging from the rafters trying to talk into the podcast. I don't want that to be you. The Demon Sting.
You can be the Rick Steiner to my Scott Steiner, okay?
Oh God, no. How are you gonna Marty Jannetty me?
You know what? That's just rude. That's just really rude. Because I'm the big bad booty daddy. I'm Freakzilla. I've always been Freakzilla. You're just Rick.
On that note, thank y'all for joining us. We appreciate your listens. Go ahead and check out our website, HEELKAIJU.com. We have a store that is open, so hit that shop button on the main page. Hit us up with a like, a comment, subscribe. Give us your firstborn. Wait, no, I'm reading the wrong script. Crap. Let's roll that back. Thank y'all for joining us. Once more. This has been the HEELKAIJU podcast. I am your host, Spotted Menace. This has been Daria, KD. Thank you for coming, and thank you again, Danny. Hopefully we'll see y'all again, and you'll catch us on the next one. Deuces.
Bye.
Wagwan, fam.